Hey there, thanks for joining me today. This is Laura Lynn with KeepInkingUp.com. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! In San Antonio, Texas. And today I wanted to share two of our new bundles that are found in our Spring 2020 mini catalog, the Peaceful Moments and Painted Poppies bundles. They are my favorite bundles of the catalog. I can now actually show it to you. The whole suite is the Peaceful Poppies suite, found on pages 24 and 25 and beyond. But you see these are the two bundles, and there's this beautiful designer series paper. There's some sequins, there's some seam binding ribbon. We'll talk about that in a little bit, and some Peaceful Poppies elements. What I also wanted to point out, what's new in this particular catalog, is Stampin' Up! Has been so kind to provide color swatches for all of the colors that are in the designer series paper in this suite. Now normally we've just had them listed, which has been extremely helpful, but I think that it's really nice to see the colors right here, and that kind of tool is repeated throughout the catalog for the various suites. So anyway, we're going to be using the Peaceful Poppies bundles today. Like I said, they're the Peaceful Moments and the Painted Poppies bundles. I'm going to be using just the stamp sets today. If you do have a die cutting machine, I do highly recommend that you get both bundles rather than just one or the other, and that'll make more sense as I show some samples toward the end of this video. So stay tuned to the end so you can see those samples. So I'm going to put these aside for the moment, and I'm going to bring in my deluxe foam mat. This is for my Stamparatus, but I happen to really enjoy using this as my stamp pad, especially when I'm using photopolymer stamps. Now the stamps I'm using today are cling, so they're red rubber stamps, so I don't need the extra cushion, but I've just kind of gotten into the habit of using this, and I really like it. And I'm also going to be using some scratch paper. This again is for the Stamparatus, but I just like the small size of it to use as scratch paper. So what I'm going to do for you today is to make a one-layer card. If you follow me at all, you know that I like to challenge myself to one-layer cards. And in some of my videos, I explain how I like to always have a stack of our thick Whisper White card bases ready at hand, so at any time I can pull one out and begin stamping. So this is a half a sheet of our thick Whisper White cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's folded in half at 4 1/4 to make a standard A2 size card. This will fit in our medium size envelopes. I am going to open it up though to do my stamping, and I'm going to pull in this watercolor image. Let me pull in the stamp set again. It's a watercolor, I'll call it a blob. I don't really know what it is, but it's a watercolor image, so I have it already mounted on my block. And I am going to stamp with Rich Razzleberry. Rich Razzleberry is one of the colors in the suite of products that was shown in those swatch colors. I'm a purple girl, so I like Rich Razzleberry. So I am going to ink up this blotch, but it's a little bit dark. So I am actually going to stamp off on my scratch paper, and then I'm going to stamp this on the upper half of my card over here. And I'm going to do that again 2 more times. And I'm just kind of rotating the image a little bit, and I'm making just a cluster of blobs. Okay, so I'm done with that. Next, I'm going to take the outline floral image. Now this is, I guess, technically a poppy, but you could do it, and you could use this in any color and just make a typical generic flower, but I guess it is a poppy. So I'm going to, again, ink it in the Rich Razzleberry ink. Now I will tell you that this image does not line up exactly with this watercolor image, so do not stress about stamping over top of it. If you look at the designer series paper in this suite, it has the really loose watercolor look with the splatters and with the open spaces, and things are out of the line, so do not stress about it. They won't line up. No matter how many times you turn it around and around, they're not going to line up, so there's just no need to stress about it. So I'm just stamping the outline over top of the watercolor blob, so that's looking nice already. I'm going to go ahead and close up this ink pad for now, although we will be using it in a minute. Next, I'm going to stamp the the leaf. There are 2 leaf images in the stamp set. Let me pull back the stamp set. There's this single leaf image, which is the one that we're going to use, and then there's this little branch leaf image that we're not going to be using. But I'm going to be using this. But you'll see that it has a little stem on there, and I don't really want to stamp the stem. I want to have the leaf nestle right up close to the flower images. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. And I'm actually going to use Granny Apple Green. Now, Granny Apple Green is not one of the greens that is mentioned in the catalog for the Designer Series paper, but I just like the way it looks with Rich Razzleberry. And hey, this is my card. I can do what I want with it, right? So to stamp this leaf without using the stem, hopefully I can do this so you can see it, I'm going to hang the stem off of the ink pad. I'm going to dab that in, and hopefully you can see how I've got the whole leaf but not the stem. Do you see how the stem doesn't have ink on it? That way when I come up here I can stamp really close to the flowers and not get that line poking into the flower, so it looks like the leaf is coming out from behind the flowers. And I'm going to do that 2 more times, right up next to the flowers. Oh, it looks like I might go off the edge here, so I'm going to close the card. Every time I do this, it's a little bit different. Okay, now I want to color in my leaves. Maybe I'll leave that closed. Now I want to color in the leaves. Now the watercolor blob is a little bit too big for the leaves, so instead I'm going to use the little splatter image. There's a small splatter image and a large splatter, and I'm going to use the small one. So I'm going to ink this up, and again, like I did the flowers, I'm going to ink off or stamp off some of the ink, and then I'll go onto my leaf. And I'm going to do that twice for each leaf. And I'm just kind of coloring in the leaves then with this splatter stamp. Just like that. So isn't that pretty? Okay, so I'm going to close up this ink pad. I am done with the Granny Apple Green. But I'm going to bring back the Rich Razzleberry because now I'm going to grab a sentiment from the Peaceful Moments stamp set. Now, if you'll notice, the Painted Poppies stamp set has all images and no sentiments, but the Peaceful Moments stamp set has all sentiments and no images. So that's one reason why that they are really good to go together. So if you get one, it's nice to have the other. But of course, you could use any sentiment from any stamp set that you have in your collection. But I really like these particular sentiments. I love when they combine the fonts. I love the block font with the kind of handwritten font. I really appreciate that kind of combination. So I chose to use the With Deepest Sympathy image. Unfortunately, I'm needing to send out a lot of these cards lately. I don't like having to send them, but it's just part of life. So I'm going to ink up in Rich Razzleberry, and then I'm going to stamp that below my flowers, just like that. Now, isn't that a nice card? It's just sweet. It's very simple. Anyone could do this, even if you are a brand new stamper. I just think it's so pretty. So anyway, I had so much fun when designing this card that I actually made several others. So I wanted to share them with you. These are all 1-layer cards. So this one's the same as I just did, but I did the outline in the tuxedo, the Memento Tuxedo black ink for both the leaves and the flowers, and then I colored with Poppy Parade and the Granny Apple Green. Again, I made this a sympathy card with the black ink. Here I used the line of poppies, and then I used that same splotchy stamp to color in the flowers and the leaves, and I think that looks really nice as well. This one is very similar to what I did, but this one's a lot darker. You can see I did the Rich Razzleberry in full strength, and I think that's just a little bit dark, but I still like this layout. I added more leaves in this one and a really tiny sentiment on that one. This one I added multiple colors. This is Mango Melody, Poppy Parade, and Rich Razzleberry. It's just a little bit of a different layout. This is still the Granny Apple Green. And then here's another really simple card with the stem image. And again, I added with the splotchy stamp, Mango Melody and the Granny Apple Green. And again, used the Tuxedo Black Memento ink for that card. And then here's my last one that I made, and I used again Mango Melody and rich raspberry and granny apple green, and then I put the sentiment up there to the upper left corner. So, and then this one you can see I also added the larger splotchy stamp over the flower, just to give it a little bit of that watercolor look. So anyway, like I said, I had fun making a bunch of one-layer cards, but I wanted to show you some ideas too of stepping it up a little bit. Well, let's say you don't want to do just a single one-layer card. Well, you can actually do quite a bit and still stay within the same suite of products. So this is a card very similar. If you can see, it's very similar layout, but what I did is I stamped the flowers and the sentiment in the same exact colors, the same way, but I put it on a piece of our Whisper white cardstock that I think was 3.5 by 4 3/4, and then I put a little skinny mat behind that of rich raspberry, and then I added this ribbon. Now this ribbon is actually in the suite of products, but it comes in white. It is the, let's see, the crinkled seam binding ribbon. It's 1/4 inch wide, and it comes in white. But because it's white, you can color it any color you want with your Stampin' Blends. So since I used the granny apple green with the inking of it, what I did is I took my dark granny apple green Stampin' Blends, and I simply took it and colored my ribbon. That's all you need to do. When you do one side, it colors the other side. So I just colored about, I think I did about 16 inches of ribbon, and then I just tied that around my layers, and I put that again on a thick Whisper white card base. So that's how you could step it up, adding a little bit of layers and ribbon to just step it up a little bit if you would like to do that. If you want to step it up even more, I did another card, which as you can see is very similar layout, but in this card I used the coordinating dies that come in the bundle. So I stamped the flower images exactly the same way that I did before, but I spread them out on the paper so I could cut them out, and I did the same with the leaves, and I kind of scrunched up the leaves a little bit. I put the flowers up on dimensionals on top of this layer. This actually is a piece of rich raspberry that has been embossed with the tin tile 3D embossing folder that's found in our annual catalog. And this is on a rich raspberry card base. And then I added a piece of the designer series paper from the suite of products. And then I stamped the sentiment and cut it out with one of the labels from the bundle. And I don't know if you can see this cute little touch there. That's another die in the bundle. And then I don't know if you can see, I have some rhinestones. These are actually champagne rhinestones in another suite of products in the catalog. I think it's the Parisian bundle, Parisian suite. They're champagne rhinestones, but I thought they looked kind of purpley on there. So anyway, I think that added a nice amount of bling on the card. So you can do a really simple one-layer card, or you can step it up however you'd like with more products if you happen to have them. And what I wanted to share with you about having both bundles is the sentiments are in the Peaceful Moments stamp set, and this comes with a wide variety of dies, but they don't coordinate with the stamp set. But the label that I used to cut out the images from in here are in the other bundle. So the other bundle comes with dies for these various labels, and here's that little decorative piece here. So even though the dies cut out the sentiments really well, they're in the bundle that have the images on there. So that's why I think that it's really good to have both, because you can cut out these sentiments using the dies from this bundle. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed all of those little tips about these two bundles in the new catalog. I think it's a fabulous set, and I really like it, and you're going to see a lot more from it. Actually, I do have one more card I wanted to share. This uses mostly the designer series paper. It's so pretty. This has Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, and Old Olive. So I happen to have some really old Flirty Flamingo ribbon that I was able to add on here, and then I used this really fun label in the coordinating dies in the Old Olive, and then I punched out the happy birthday with a circle punch. So again, a really fast and easy card using products from this particular suite of products. So thanks again so much for watching. I hope that you learned something. If I can answer any questions that you may have, please just let me know. You can shoot me an email at lauralynn@keepinkingup.com, or you can leave a comment below and I will certainly respond. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.